What's up, friends? Today I just wanted to do another video, a sit-down video, just talking kind of, because I just want to talk about this topic. I have ADHD and I was diagnosed in September, I believe, so it's been 6 months since I've been diagnosed, and I just wanted to talk about my experiences since then. I am 26 years old and I was diagnosed when I was 26, which is pretty late for a lot of people. A lot of people are diagnosed as children. I was diagnosed as an adult and I'm a woman. A lot of women are diagnosed later in life, and if you're watching this, you're probably questioning if you have ADHD or you already have ADHD and you are just looking for someone's experiences. Anyway, I wanted to talk about this because I wanted to explain my journey, and maybe you're going through something similar, and then I wanted to talk about how my life is now that it's been 6 months since my diagnosis, because I would say it's definitely changed my life, and I think a lot of people could benefit from hearing this. So let's get started. So again, my name is Rachel and I have ADHD. I have the inattentive type specifically, and I am on medications, Concerta, and occasionally Ritalin. Now, a little bit of background. I did okay in school. I did fine. I went to university, I graduated, I did pretty okay. I don't remember much of my childhood. I do have comorbidities, including PTSD, anxiety, depression, alcoholism. So you might not have those, but it might be relevant to your story if it is. A lot of people with these issues don't remember much of their childhood, and same case for me. I do remember feeling very confused in the classroom, alone, just strange in general, and I don't know what that was attributed to. Probably was a little bit of everything, including the ADHD. I always struggled in school. I feel like I could never do as well as other people, even though I studied and studied and studied, and it was just hard. I was very quiet. I watched a lot of other people a lot of the time rather than engaged, and I kind of kept to myself a lot of the time. So that was kind of my childhood. As I grew up, I became a little bit more social. In college, I picked up drinking, and that's when the trouble started, and I started really seeing symptoms of the other things, even though they were in existence when I was a child as well, and I had symptoms. So after I resolved my alcoholism about 2.5 years ago, I've been sober for almost 3 years now. I was told by my doctors that I had anxiety and depression. I already knew that for a few years, and I'd been diagnosed and was on medication. But I was dealing with something pretty terrible that was really affecting my life, which was this chronic tiredness. I was so sleepy, just sleeping all day, struggling to get up in the morning, just feeling like someone ran me over with a truck. Because of this, I had constant brain fog. I had constant brain fog. So some of my symptoms included brain fog, exhaustion, fatigue, my body would hurt. Something that I really struggled with was paying attention to something for a long time. I couldn't do it, and if I had to, I would be so exhausted afterwards. Another thing that it affected pretty badly was my social life. I found that after I got sober, I really struggled socially. I didn't have the energy for that. Like, being around a lot of people, I would get very overwhelmed. I wouldn't be able to listen to anyone. I wouldn't be able to take in what they were saying to me. I would just kind of nod my head and be like, oh yeah, oh, yeah, no, you know, even though I didn't know what they were saying to me because I couldn't focus on them. Other things was my memory was super bad. I'd have to write everything down, and then I'd forget the things that I write down. I lost everything. I was constantly losing my phone, my chapstick, my keys, myself, I don't know, just everything. I'd lose it. Very clumsy. I just wouldn't pay attention to my surroundings. Just not good. And if you're here, you're probably struggling with some symptoms of your own. And if you know, and if you're like me, you know these symptoms can be really debilitating and can affect your life. And the reason that I started searching for answers on these symptoms was because it was really affecting my life. My relationship was being affected because I was so tired. I would sleep all day. I wouldn't do things like the dishes or the laundry, or if I was asked to do it, I'd forget, and I just wouldn't do it. And yeah, again, I would just sleep all the time. I would sleep in till 11 and then start work, and then I'd have to take a nap 2 hours later. Our social life was kind of weird. Everyone kind of knew that I was super nice and friendly and cool and great for my partner, but I wouldn't pay attention to them as they talked, or I had to be on my phone, engaging with my phone when they talked, and they all kind of just knew Rachel's weird and Rachel is on her phone. And just Rachel's Rachel. And she has to go take naps mid hangout with friends and whatever. And it affected my relationship because my partner, we'd get home from seeing friends and he would be like, Rachel, why were you on your phone the whole time? You know, like that's so rude. Or like, why are you sleeping in again? You're gonna get fired from work. Or how are you taking naps all day? You're gonna lose your job. Or Rachel, why can't you just do the dishes? Why can't you just do this? You're being so lazy. You're just lazy. You can do it. Just do it. You're just lazy. And it was affecting my relationship because I knew something was terribly wrong and I didn't know what it was. So I began trying to figure it out after I got sober. I finally had the energy to kind of look into this other issue I was having, and my doctors told me that these were symptoms of my depression and anxiety, and once I got on the right meds, I would be better. So I was on all these meds. I started going to intensive therapy because I wanted to figure it out. You know, I thought if I resolve my trauma and if I resolve my anxiety, maybe my symptoms would lessen. I wouldn't have to sleep all the time. I don't know. I would have, like, maybe I'm socially anxious and that's why I can't be social and then I get tired. I don't know. So it was very hard for me. So I started looking into different things and I was like, I guess the biggest thing was I was constantly exhausted. The brain fog, I felt like there was a heavy thing sitting on my head and it felt like my brain was heavy and just slow. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe you experienced something similar. I was like, okay, so something's wrong with my sleep. I sleep way too much. I sleep maybe 16 hours a day or more, and that's not normal and it's affecting my life. So I was like, okay, chronic fatigue. I have chronic fatigue. And so because it was just chronic fatigue, right? And chronic fatigue is pretty mysterious, and I was trying to get a diagnosis for chronic fatigue because I just wanted to know what was wrong with me. Because something was wrong with me. No one believed me. People thought I was just lazy, but I knew something was wrong. My doctor referred me to get a sleep study. I went to the sleep study. Everything came back normal. I had no sleep apnea. I was falling asleep pretty quickly like a normal person, and my sleep was fine. Like, nothing was wrong. There was no reason I should be sleeping that much. So it was really difficult because that was a dead end. I got blood work done just to see if I was, didn't have nutrients or something. That came back normal. I changed my lifestyle. I would go on more walks, but I would just need to pass out after that because everything was so exhausting to me. So then the next thing was like, okay, I have PTSD. Let's resolve that. So I went and got very intensive PTSD therapy with my therapist. I was meeting her once a week and for an hour every week, and we were just going through all of this stuff. And I resolved it mid last year, I would say, and it was the best feeling because I wasn't dealing with PTSD symptoms anymore, but I was still sleeping all day and not being able to pay attention to anything my husband said, and he'd get frustrated because he would be like, what did I just say? I'd be like, I have no idea. And he would just be like, you don't listen to me, you're not paying attention to me. And I felt really bad because I wanted to be there for him and I wanted to give him the attention he deserved and he gave me, but I just couldn't. And so it was affecting my friendships as well. I wasn't reaching out to my friends. I was neglecting my friendships because I just didn't have the emotional and physical and just capacity to do it. It was just a lot. So once I resolved my PTSD, I wasn't depressed anymore for the first time in my life. I wasn't anxious anymore for the first time in my life. And I was still sleeping all day, okay? So then I was like, okay, fuck, what is this? Because something is wrong, it's not normal. Okay, so it was summer and I was like, I need to figure this out. It's ruining my life and I'm so unhappy because of this. And so I started Googling things. I was like, okay, chronic fatigue. I still think I have chronic fatigue. And then I forget what triggered it, but I was like, I need to figure this out. And I started just looking up random things. And I think I stumbled upon ADHD and I Googled it. And all the symptoms kind of just made sense to me, like ADHD, inattentive. So I'm just gonna look it up really quickly and read to you some of the symptoms. So I read these. Often has trouble staying focused on tasks at work, home, or play. Frequently does not pay close attention to details or makes careless mistakes at work or while doing other tasks. Often has trouble organizing tasks or activities. Is easily distracted. Frequently does not follow through on instructions or fails to complete work assignments, chores, or other activities. Often forgets doing routine chores like paying bills, returning phone calls, keeping appointments. Avoids tasks that require long periods of mental focus, preparing reports, filling out forms, in my case, social interaction. Often loses items needed to complete tasks or activities, and does not appear to be listening even though spoken to directly. A person would experience more than 5 of these, I would say, to have ADHD apparently. And I would say that these rang completely true to me. I was like, this is exactly what I'm experiencing. But from what I know about ADHD, it's more like hyperactive. So I was kind of like, okay, well, it can't be ADHD. The more I looked into it, I looked at research and I saw that women were often misdiagnosed and diagnosed very late because we were more quiet about it. We might have the inattentive type more likely, and so we're not really vocal about our issues. We do fine in school because we figure out how to do fine, and that's very much what my life was like. So yeah, terrible focus, staying on tasks at work, home, or play. You know, I'm pretty detail oriented, but I make careless mistakes while doing tasks. Like I'll swing my arm around and I'll drop something. Like this is constant. I think I drop a glass of something like 3 times a week. I don't know. And other people don't do that. I'm easily distracted, absolutely. I do follow through on instructions and fail to and complete work assignments, I would say, because I have to, and like I learned that I have to do that. It might be like a really hard road to get there, but I would do it. However, I will not complete chores or other activities. And then avoid tasks that require long periods of mental focus. I don't know if I avoided it, but it was more like I just wouldn't even engage. So I guess avoiding. Loses items, yes. I lose everything. And does not appear to be listening and spoken to directly. Yes, I don't listen ever. I don't think I listened to my husband during the first 3 months of our relationship. I don't know what happened and how we ended up together because I was not listening to him. And then it says other psychological conditions such as depression or anxiety, substance abuse, etc., can accompany ADHD in adults. And so when I read that, I was like, girl, who took this picture of me? Who took this picture of me? And I was like, okay, that's me. And I was wary of bringing it up to my psychiatrist because, again, I have substance abuse issues and I know people abuse the stimulants. And so I was like, I don't want him to just think I'm like looking for some pills, even though I do be doing that sometimes. But I went to him and I was like, hey, I'm still dealing with these issues after y'all told me that once my anxiety and depression got resolved, they would go away. But I'm still dealing with all of these symptoms. I want to see if this is possibly what I have. Can you please engage with me on this? And he did. So I had been working with him for almost a year, and we had a really good relationship, and he'd helped me with a lot of different things. And so he tested me for ADHD. He had like some questions, and he also referred back to my intake report, and apparently I had put the exact same things that I was answering to him that day on the intake report a year ago. So it wasn't like I made this up or whatever, it was an ongoing issue. And so he was like, I think you have ADHD possibly, but let's talk to your husband. I want to corroborate that you show these symptoms and it's not, you know, other people see it. And my husband came in and he was like, yeah, she never listens to me. She doesn't finish her tasks. She doesn't do anything. She scrolls on TikTok all day. Keep in mind, I did not ever use TikTok at that time. And I was like, squeeze me? But yeah, he basically was like, yeah, I hate her. And then my boss was like, yeah, not my boss. My psychiatrist was like, you have ADHD. Anyway, after that, I love medicine. So he was like, let's get some medicine on your life. Because I already have pretty good like coping skills and mechanisms to help me get through some of the symptoms of ADHD, like focusing, like if I have to focus on work, I know I have to focus on work or someone will get fired, so I'll do it. But yeah, so they put me on Ritalin, and I was on like the lowest dose of Ritalin at first. That didn't work for me, so I increased. He allowed me to increase on my own volition based on how I was feeling. So I increased to 15 milligrams, or I tried 20 milligrams, and I was like, and that was just insane. And I was like, So I went down to 15 milligrams twice a day. And suddenly, the first day I did it, I was working. I completed a task that I had not done at work for like over a year that I had been saying I was gonna do. Camera died. Anyway, it was insane. It was like from night to day. I was not sleeping. I woke up. Was awake the whole day. I was listening to my husband for the first time in my life. It turns out that he is allergic to peanuts. Didn't know that. Yeah, just night and day. I called my friends. I was like, hi, how are you doing? I haven't talked to you in 5 years. And everything changed. For the first few days, I was like, and then it kind of settled down into like a normal thing, you know? Anyway, but I didn't like that because it didn't last that long, the Ritalin, so I changed over to concerta, and concerta worked better for me. It lasted from like 10 to 5 or something. And so I was on. My life changed. I got myself a raise, I got a promotion, my relationship with my husband, we like each other more now, it's great. I call my friends now, you know, I don't sleep all day, so I have hobbies now. I can pay attention to things. I've like learned so much. I'm learning how to code. I pick up my medicines on time. I do the dishes. I take the laundry out of the dryer instead of put it on another cycle. I don't know why I did that. My husband hated it when I told him that I did that. I don't know what I did that. But anyway, I actually take the laundry out now and I fold it and I put it away. My life's completely different. I also am a little bitter because I'm like, had I been diagnosed as a child, I would probably be a rocket scientist or something like that. But alas, I'm not. Anyway, so I'm a little bitter, a little bit angry because I did have such a hard time growing up. And now I'm like, what could I have achieved? But I'm also proud of myself because I was able to get to this point regardless. And now I'm able to grow even better, grow even stronger, improve my relationships with people, and improve my life. And so I'm just so grateful I was diagnosed, and I hope that you get diagnosed too. Anyway, that's it for me, I think, for this video. If you have any questions or want me to talk about something else with ADHD, I'd be happy to. Just leave a comment down below. Let me know about your experiences and what you've been through. And if it's something similar or something different, I'd love to hear about it because there's so many of us who haven't been diagnosed or still working on getting diagnosed, and it's hard. So feel free to comment down below. I'd love to hear it. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok and all the things, and I'll see you there.